All right, what is up, everyone? This is Chuburger84. This is my first video in a very long time. I had no idea how I was going to kick off this new channel, which is basically, it's not going to be a thing. Like, it's not going to be just gaming. It's not going to be just political talk. I have no idea what it's going to be. It's going to be soft therapy for me, I think. Just whatever is on my brain that I need to get out this week. So, look, I hope you like it. If you do likes, bells, subscribes, whatever people do on YouTube these days. It's been a minute. But look, I turned on the YouTubes today and the Twits and the X's, whatever they're called, in 2025, and I had to give my buddy Jeff a call in the US. How are you, pal?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm here to answer all of your American questions.
Yeah, I know you are basically Captain America. I've actually put a shield in the background for you on my video, just
Except I
to make
have
you
no
feel at home.
right.
What's
Yeah,
that?
except I have no right to be Captain America at all. But yeah,
You don't have the guns
for
and the steroids necessary.
exactly. Yeah, I'm the worst version of a Captain America you could ever imagine. But yeah,
Right?
that's me.
Was
Yeah.
it Agent? What was that guy's name? The Walker character, the one that was like, is it Agent
Oh,
America? What do they call his character in Thunderbolts? I can't remember.
yeah. I'm trying to remember now too. Wasn't it like it wasn't Agent something?
Yeah. Either way, shit America. But look, speaking
Yeah.
of shit America, it's kind of why we're here on this chat and why I thought I'd give you a call because like you and I occasionally would give each other a buzz and talk about like, world politics and obviously
Mm,
America's role in it from time to time. Usually with me going, what
yeah.
the fuck are you guys doing? And then you sharing a clip with me of like one of my politicians, comparing trans people to crocodiles. I'm like, you know what? Fair play, fair balance.
At
Um,
least yours is more entertaining.
well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, entertaining is a wild thing, but
Well,
look, I
yours is
had to.
funnier. Yours is funnier.
I'll give you that. Well, you got Florida though. Like you've got like Diet Australia down there on the
I
horn.
suppose it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's close.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
But look, I had to give you a call about this one because it's just wild shit today with this Charlie Kirk thing. Have
Mm.
you watched the Twitter footage? Did you actually have you seen how it went down?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen it from, like, all the angles and everything like that,
Oh, I
and
didn't get
I've
that
already
far.
seen
I
the
had to stop.
conspiracy theories.
I had to stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's brutal to watch.
Have you
If you
already
haven't seen it, if you're watching this video, I mean, try
mhm,
not to. If you're going to sleep soon, it's pretty fucked when you realize we are basically just a bag of blood. Uh,
yeah.
it's pretty confronting to watch, but also I think it does a great job of showing the horror of this shit as well.
I mean, definitely that. I mean, so did you like, what all did you watch? Did you actually see the wound, the shot go
Oh
in?
yeah,
You
I've
saw the
seen a
blood
couple
and
of the
everything?
angles of
Okay.
like the bullet hitting
Okay, good.
him, the way he pops back, and just the literal just artery explosion. Like it is
Yeah.
sometimes you sort of go like movies and TV that is there's no way it looks like that. And this you sort of go, fuck man,
And you're
whoever
like,
did the
"Oh,
CGI in this
shit."
went like this was Saw 6, you know what I mean? Like it's bad.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same trauma level at this point.
pretty much, I think we're both going to see the
Yeah,
same therapist after this. If we don't get a better
exactly.
help sponsorship on our first episode out of this, I'm going to be severely disappointed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But look, I mean, I guess we should probably talk about if people don't necessarily know who Charlie Kirk is, because I think there's a lot of people who are in the like political sphere that either know this guy,
Mhm.
although he's kind of become a meme. Like he was literally referenced in South Park for all these debates. The way I view
Yeah,
him, and you're American, so you can correct me if
yeah.
my Australian knowledge is kind of shit. But he's kind of like this guy who is a bit of an edgelord intellectual who would travel to colleges, was a very sort of right wing, conservative, very sort of anti abortion kind of angle, and would just debate
Mhm.
these children with logic, yeah, against feelings, and would dominate more often than not in these
Yeah.
clips in a way that was very, they'd come out with this big emotional thing and he'd like, take a sip of his water, which I thought South Park did such a good job. Did you see the South Park ep?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of
Yeah, like
course.
taking the
Uh
sip, it's like, no, but Jesus, and then move on. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Honestly, South Park does a really good job of critiquing politics. I don't care what anyone says. It's actually hilarious.
Yeah. Look, I don't care if we don't make a cent from this YouTube in the long term. That's a lie. I hope we make lots of money.
Mhm.
But the backup would be if we make it to a point where I get like referenced and shit on by Trey and Matt of South Park, I can
Well,
die
then you know
happy.
you've made
I
it.
really could. It'd be
Yeah,
like that and
100%.
then having kids number two. Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I think, you know, the biggest thing for people to kind of understand about him is, like, I think a lot of foreigners get confused. He's not part of, like, the, um, he's like never held like any form of political office of any
Yeah.
part at all. You know, like he's purely an influencer. That being said, he is a widespread influencer, and he has been involved in every single talk show you can possibly imagine. And but yeah, his claim to fame was him and this other guy. I forgot what his name is. He's kind of fallen off the radar. But
Oh, the
they did.
comedian guy?
Yes,
Craw
yeah,
Craw something? What was that guy's name? I know who you're talking about.
I
He
don't
was more like the
remember.
bro-y version. He was less
Yes,
Jesus-y, but more bro version of that.
yeah. He was also worse. Like Charlie's better at it for
Right.
sure. But yeah, I mean, you know, in some ways, I actually like it because although he's not my affiliation politically, like I'm
Yeah.
generally
Well,
more of a
we use past
centrist.
tense now. He wasn't. So that's a very bad.
True, I got to get used to
Sorry, too soon. Too soon. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
that. But I do appreciate, like, I've always found it entertaining to see.
Okay.
Like I love watching debates, period, right? And it's interesting to see people come at it from different angles. However, debating college kids, first of all, it's usually like just dunk fest 101,
Yeah.
basically, because he comes in incredibly prepared on every single topic, right? And generally these guys are like pretty intellectual. But the biggest thing is that they've done their research and they have skewed research to
Yeah.
really help their points out, you know, as most sides prepare generally. Um, but yeah, when they're going to these college campuses and these people are not set up with anything, like even in Jubilee debates and stuff like that that you've seen, you know, at least you have time to prepare. You know what, you know, a lot of the questions are going to end up being, or at least around what they're going to be. In here, it's kind of like a no holds bar scenario, and you're just walking up, and what you know is what you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a free for all, and you know, most of the time he's just like I said, dunking on people. But it's really fun to. I think two things are a takeaway. A, it's really just like good entertainment, but B, it really has created like a politically charged atmosphere on campuses. I mean, like this is like a known thing across all campuses in the
But
U.S.
do you
Of
think
like,
he created the political charge, or do you think that because it's become such a politically dominated sphere, like it seems so much politics has crept into tertiary education? I don't know if is that what you call it over there, like university? Do you call it tertiary?
no, no, that's it. This is
Okay.
mainline
Well, real
education,
good,
I believe.
smart people at schools and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's so politicized that like it seems like, and very left wing leaning, especially in the US. Like it's
Hmm.
been well publicized in all sorts of media, especially in Australia. Like conservative media is
Right.
always like, you'll never believe what they're talking about in American schools now. You know?
Yeah, I could see that. Well, I think, you
Yeah.
know, it's a, you know, chicken or the egg scenario, I suppose,
Okay.
but for the most part, like at the end of the day, it's undeniable that it has a strong effect on campuses. I mean,
Yep.
like you saw how many people were in the crowd today, right?
Yeah. I guess we should probably talk about what happened before we talk about this. I mean, obviously, this guy was shot in front of an
Hmm.
entire school at a
Yeah,
speaking event.
yeah.
And it is such an incredible thing. It's like of all the assassinations on planet Earth right now that could have
Mm,
gone down, cartel
yeah.
leaders, dictators, all this sort of things, like very obvious people. You're like, how is that guy not dead yet? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that this guy is a social media, or I guess, you know, a bit more high end media talking
Yeah.
head, that someone had enough rage against this person to wake up that morning with a plan and a weapon to go
Mm,
to a school, shoot him fatally in the neck in front
mm.
of, would it be thousands? I didn't see the whole crowd zoomed out.
Thousands, thousands, I would
In
say.
front of thousands of people.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's I feel like superficially, it sounds strange. It sounds like, wow, that's crazy that that would happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like if you're if you've kind of been watching politics for the past basically like since Trump era,
Yep.
um, I don't think it is strange at all. I actually like this to me, I feel like was inevitable. I feel like there's probably more to come. Like
That
this
I
this
do agree. I worry that that's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, this isn't even like I mean, we've had other things. I mean, this is, I guess, a very, very public one, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, we've had politically charged assassination attempts. Like there was one just a couple months back. Melissa Portman, I want to say.
Okay.
She was on the Democratic side, um, and her husband were killed by a right winger who was posing as a police officer and came to the
Oh
house,
shit, I
killed them
saw
both.
this. Right, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean,
And
yeah, like
what
these.
was the story with the shooter? What was he? Did that guy ended up getting found out? Was he
Oh
right
yeah, yeah.
wing?
He was. Yeah, he was a right wing conservative. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, he was. Like his friends and family all said that. Yeah, he was. A Trump supporter. He went
Yep.
to various events for him, stuff like that. Um, and so like I'm not surprised by this, and I think as we're getting to more of this, um, as we're getting more and more divisive, which is just I think undeniable at this point. Like I think it's only going up. Like the trajectory is just getting worse and worse for
Yeah.
how much people despise the other party. You know what I mean? Whatever the other party may be. I feel like
But the
this is just
hatred is
bound to
one
happen
part, but
more and
it's the
more.
language too, right? I think that there is so much
From
like
the people, from the citizens, or from the like
no from
lawmakers and political
mainstream media, from the
influencers.
talking heads. I think it's all the way through.
Oh
But the
yeah, for sure.
politicians themselves, like I mean, you've got
Yeah.
and it happens here in Australia as well. Like we have a senator who is very against us colonizers here in Australia. Basically, she's like,
Right.
we called her people hundreds of years ago, so we shouldn't be here. And
Right.
declares war on us like all the time. But it's that kind of language that's what it is now. It's like we are at
The
war
inflammatory
for
language.
our survival as a race, as a species, as a people, and then you've got this other stuff like, equating differences in political opinion to direct threats of violence against you. Like things like the
Mm.
silence is violence terminology. That if someone
Yeah.
is not vocally supporting my point of view, they are definitely committed to opposing me. And now I'm equating that to physical violence. And now I've created a threat that isn't actually there. I'm escalating based off that invisible threat. And then now I'm actually going to commit physical violence in response or justify physical responses of violence against people that are
Yeah.
now less than because they don't agree with you. Like it's the dehumanizing approach that was used in the lead up to World War II in Germany that
Mm.
allowed a certain tolerance of really dark shit to happen because like well it's fine because they're less than they're the enemy, and you see a lot of
Right.
that shit being repeated now, and it is terrifying that now it's like this kind of stuff is not only happening but as you say escalating.
Yeah. Like I mean, certainly inflammatory language and like violent rhetoric. Like I would say violent. That feels like it may be a bit more yeah, I would say violent rhetoric because I mean, certainly Trump has had violent rhetoric before, but yeah, those things have definitely increased in politics ever since Trump first
He's a
entered
part of
politics. I
it,
would say.
but I have to admit, man, I think the liberals all the way
Oh, I don't think
through
it's not just him.
they
I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
escalated since then. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
On both sides for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Trump is more obvious about it though. But I think that the Democrats 100% like are a part of that as well. Like but they just do it a little more subtly.
Yeah.
Like I think that they like we won't stand up or we won't stand against. I'm sorry, we won't stand for, X thing or Y thing whenever they get on their high horse and their soapbox and they start preaching against the things that the Republicans are doing. You know, they always say things like we have to resist, like keywords like that, stand against, resist,
I
all that kind of
don't
stuff.
know that
Like,
well, it depends on who we're talking about. If we're talking about the political party themselves or the Democrats, I would agree
mhm,
with you. But if we're talking about the more global left on social media,
mhm,
the threats of violence, the doxing, the seeking to like punish these people that
Oh,
don't
if you're talking,
agree with you, I'd have to
yeah,
say I disagree. If you're talking about the Democrats themselves, I agree they're soft and weak as piss with their version of this, right? It's just like, we're
that's
not going to
exactly what I'm
stand for
talking about.
this. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah, no,
think the left
that
on the Twitterers and the social
mhm.
media platforms, I I don't know. Some days it's hard for me not to think that it's worse on that side sometimes.
I was definitely talking about just like
I'm with you.
political figures.
Yeah.
If we're talking about people, I think the left side, like hyper liberals especially, like they're some of the worst. Like
Yeah.
I can't deal with them for more than like 5 minutes, honestly. And then same thing with the height with like the super extra conservative, like
Yeah.
ultra MAGA bros. Like
The
same thing like
extremists. I
that.
mean, the people that
Yeah.
have been fucking up the world for hundreds of years. The extremists always
Yeah.
give everyone else a bad name and ruin good ideas.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
and like everything is okay until you take it to an extreme, and then everything is bad at an extreme. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
you
yeah.
just can't take anything to that point. And that's the problem is that like both do. And 100% like I think that they're just as bad. And I think anyone that says otherwise is crazy.
Yeah.
Or they're a part of or they're a part of that movement and just refuse to disavow it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I mean, like that's just kind of what it is here. I mean, you see, I've seen unhinged things on TikTok. Like, I don't understand how people get away with it, kind of things. I mean,
Man,
like
I've seen
direct
unhinged
threats of
shit today.
violence.
Like nothing has shown me more than like how far humanity has fallen. Then I made the mistake after talking to you earlier, saying, "Hey, we should finally do what we've been talking about for ages and actually
Right.
do this thing." Um, I jumped on Twitter and I thought I'm just going to type in Charlie Kirk's name and I'm going to scroll for 10 minutes.
Boy, that
Fuck,
must
I
have been
could
fun.
not be more disappointed in our species right now. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. The amount of people that were posting memes like they're tap dancing on the grave. You know what I mean? They are celebrating, posting these little clips of like, that Jonah Hill meme of being like really excited from, I think, Super Bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
just
Right. Yeah.
people who were
Hmm.
gleeful, like borderline under the desk, like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. Like just absolutely fapping to the ninth power of how
Yeah.
happy they were that a
Yeah.
human being was shot in the neck. And I'm like, maybe I missed some points about this Charlie Kirk guy. Like I thought he's kind of like, kind of a dick to the left, obviously. And
Right.
he's got some
Right.
pretty strong stances on conservative thoughts and anti-abortionism and all that sort of stuff. I get it. But like, what did I miss about this guy? Like, did he fuck children? Like, what did this guy do that people are so happy? It's like, no, he just said lots of words that people didn't like. That was this
Yeah.
guy's crime. And these people are acting like, the wizard is dead. Like the ultimate
Right.
mortal enemy. No, the wizard is a bad example. We're talking about like Sauron is dead. What's Lord of the Rings for 2025? Voldemort is dead. Is there a more up to date
Yeah.
version than this? Who's the new one?
Voldemort would still be like
Voldemort
the
is
go-to, I
dead,
feel like.
right? That's the kind
Yeah.
of reaction. It's like, I'm glad that he is no longer on this earth. And I
Hmm.
saw this Twitter and all of these people saying this
Yeah.
in public. It's like, it is an advertisement to say, look at me, I am a gigantic piece of shit that devalues human life so much that it is below me feeling right.
Right.
It's dangerous. And look, I'm not going to lie, most of them, it was pretty easy to see before I even like listened to the video of these people talking what they were going to say. Like there was a very certain short haircut, minimum of 3 piercings, like gemstones on a necklace. I'm like, I already know this chick's going to hate Charlie
Well, have you heard
Kirk.
the septum ring theory?
No?
Okay, well, basically, there's a thing like that. So it's just like profiling based on, like how people look. But any
Yeah.
woman with a septum ring, you know that she's just hyper liberal, trans related, something like
Right.
that. And you know exactly what she's going to say before she says it. But
Or gearing up
yeah,
to participate in the running of the bulls in Pamplona. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And, but, this is, I think, this is interesting because I actually just had two friends. Like
Yeah.
I have a group chat, and we all talk about politics in it, and everyone
I'm
always gets
surprised a
mad at
group chat
everyone.
about politics lasts longer than a week.
Oh well, I think everyone's just so well. First of all, it helps that most of everyone is on the same side.
Well, okay, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Um, yeah, but there are a few that differ, and granted, and it takes, like, whenever you have 5 people against you, sometimes, like,
Yeah.
it can get rough. But, and we've had
Well,
people leave
that was
chat
Charlie
and be
Kirk's
like,
thing, right? I mean, not to try
"Yeah.
and make a hero of this guy, but I mean, that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead."
he was going into the lion's den and he was surrounded by the enemy of just like, all right, I know
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys hate
100%.
me. I know you guys hate my ideas, but here we go. You know what I mean?
But he
That was his
did.
whole thing, right? His whole shtick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yep.
granted, he chose his targets well. Like,
Oh yeah.
he always went into a fight that he knew that he was coming out ahead of.
Yeah.
Um, but because he definitely, like, kept avoiding some specific debaters that he did not wanna fuck with.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
I yeah, so but, anyways, point being, there like, just earlier today, whenever we were had that conversation and it happened, one of my buddies, he alerted us that, like, "Hey, Charlie RIP Charlie Kirk," and that's whenever I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
I thought it was AI
Um,
bait for sure when I first saw it. I thought this is just designed to like get the right all up again now that they're all pissed off at Trump because he didn't release the
mhm,
Epstein files. Like, we need something to get
right.
everyone back on deck, guys. Charlie Kirk's dead. Like, let's pretend that's out there for a minute. And then it was real. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, it crossed my mind as well. I thought it was either my friend fucking with me or it was
Yeah.
AI, and he
Well,
fell
there's a
for it,
Trump
but yeah.
video response to it that went out right after that. I picked it straight away with the mouth movement. I'm like, Trump has such a weird mouth movement where he's got like this little
Right.
constipated corners thing. I'm like, no, no, that's
Mm,
off. It's got that AI, it's like AI porn. Just like, no, the dick's not
yeah,
in the mouth, right? You know what I mean? It's just,
it's not
it's
quite
not the
good.
thing.
Yeah, so,
Not
yeah,
that
but
I've
I
ever
mean, like,
consumed that sort of content, obviously.
we all know.
Yeah,
Um,
I invented
but
it.
yeah, but I think, like, they actually had, like, my 2 friends, like, they had an interesting, approach to it because one of my friends is a hyper liberal,
Right.
and, he very much had the stance of he was happy that he died,
What was his
and then I had
justification? Like, what was he so happy about? What was the threat that he felt
well,
this guy posed to the world?
that's the interesting part is that,
Right.
like, I think because my other friend is, he's just really not involved in politics too much. He's
Yeah.
just kind of, like, there because he wanted to, join in and listen. Um, but he's not affiliated with either party, but he was very offended by, my other friend's take.
Understood.
And yeah, I get it. But whenever with this friend, he's the one that was very much happy for him. He has been involved in politics for quite some time,
Right.
and he knows a lot about the things that Charlie Kirk has said and pushed into existence, exaggerated, lied about, things like that.
Right.
And a lot of the things, whether you or anyone else, believes it or not or sides with it, um, you know, in his mind, the Republicans have created a lot of harm, especially in the most recent um, uh, presidency, like everything that's come about in Trump's
Is there any
most recent
specifics to
presidency.
that? Like, is there like one example of like, this is at a
Well, yeah, for
level
sure.
of
And
damage that he did that I believe that he deserves the sentence of death?
so for Charlie Kirk specifically,
Yeah.
or
Well, I
Trump's
mean, he's
presidency.
happy
Okay.
about this guy specifically being dead
Yeah.
because it feels unfair to say this guy deserved to die because of like global conservative ideas. Like, it seems
Yeah.
like,
So the
is he like the Jesus bearing the cross for the entire movement to say he has died for their sins? Like,
so
what are we talking about
the
here?
most the most obvious one is Charlie Kirk's fanaticism for
Right.
guns and protection of the Second Amendment,
Yep.
and the fact that even after I think it was Uvalde, I don't know, one of the big school shootings,
Yep.
he hand waves notoriously he hand waves all mass shootings, and it's just like that's the price to pay. Literally, a quote of his
Yep.
is if a few people have to die to secure the Second Amendment for
Yep.
American citizens, let it be.
Well, if
I
that's true,
mean,
then I mean he
so
died doing what he loved. You know what I mean?
that is,
Like, I
yeah,
mean,
and then
if you want to ever die going, I stand behind what I said, then I will. You gotta put some credit there. Like, it is
right.
a dumb thing to
So
say. There is nothing that justifies that cost. I'm very anti-gun predominantly. Like, obviously
right,
we took ours away a long time because we couldn't be trusted in Australia. But
right,
like, we can
and
fight spiders by hand.
Yeah, whenever I see those spiders, I'm thinking maybe a gun would
Bring
work.
the fucking guns back. I know it's dumb. Like we have
Yeah.
the when you think about it, we should have the guns. You guys, you've had your
If
turn.
anyone should have
You
guns, yeah.
you didn't play with them nicely. You've gone too far. Put them back. Give the Australians a turn again. See
The
if they're
Australians
ready
are taking
now. And then we'll shoot a kangaroo day one and go, no, not ready. Put it back.
them. But yeah, but I think that's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
along with some tertiary things like, you have like vehement um, uh, climate change denial and stuff like that, like long-term plays here.
Yep. I saw
His
that. I
his
know the
pushing of
anti-abortionist one. That didn't he have some sort of a claim where
anti-abortionists.
he was like, even if a woman is raped, that I actually can't use that word anymore, can you? Even if a woman was SA'd,
Hmm.
she should have to carry the baby to term. And someone said, well, look, what if
Yes,
it was
yeah,
your daughter? And he
100%.
said, even if it was my daughter. Was that true? I've seen that transcript, but I haven't seen the clip. So I am
I
third
don't know if he
partying this.
specifically said about the daughter part, but 100%
Right.
he's always, from everything I have seen with him, he has always said in all cases it should be carried to term, no matter what. There's no exceptions with him
Even in the
on
case
that.
of SA.
Yes, even in the
Okay.
case of SA. Yeah, I know
Right.
that for a fact. I just don't know about the daughter anecdote.
Yeah,
Um,
look, maybe it's not true. I
but
mean, I'm purely saying it's hearsay here. I saw it
I,
on
I would
my
actually,
10-minute
I
scroll
actually bet,
today, and I'm like, that's probably it was the
right.
video clip, but I didn't watch it because I was like, I'm about 2 seconds from maybe, walking away from humanity off a cliff myself because like this was but everything that was commented on it. Like there's some people who are generally like, obviously, like this is a tragedy, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who you are, this is up there.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, and I assume he probably did actually say that, just because like it would be a really weak argument to
Maybe.
make, and generally
Well, his
like
daughter or not,
if you're
it's a shit thing to say. It's just like no, you know. Anyway, that's
well,
a
of
debate
course,
for a
but
different
but
day,
I'm just
right?
saying like he probably did say it just because it's consistent with his talking points, and he
Right.
would be a really shit debater if you can't stay that consistent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because otherwise that would be a go-to everyone would go to, and then prove that his what he speaks is nonsense.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, like going back to like the argument that they had, so that was his thing, and I do think that he brought up a very good, valid point. I don't think that I certainly don't think that shooting anyone should be um, allowed. Like
Yeah.
I condemn all political violence for sure, but um, he brought up a good point. He's like, if why feel bad for the person who hand waves off all the other mass shootings and says literally word for word, if if a few people have to die every year to secure our gun rights for America, so be it. At that point, I'm just like, well,
Yeah, but I
you.
think
I
if your
mean,
convictions are that strong, then his convictions, whether you like it or not, he didn't
mm,
falter, right? So that's the thing is that if
yeah,
you
oh, I
believe
agree.
every gun death is a tragedy, so is this one.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that
Right.
you don't get to pick and choose as much as he didn't pick and choose by the sounds of it. Again, I'm relatively unfamiliar with the guy other than the ones that obviously hit pure viral status, which, there's only so much stuff you can scroll when taking a shit. Eventually, Charlie Kirk is going to hit your phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, like for me, that point is strong enough to not celebrate his death, but it is strong enough for someone to not care about his death. Does
Oh,
that make
there's
sense?
an irony to it that, like, as someone who is very much into ironic humor, wants to giggle at that fact. Like, I mean, it's like of
Right.
all the people, like, there's
Well, I
almost
think
kind of
honestly
a
that's
weird sense of irony about it. But
but
is
even
it
that is
okay?
different than
Yeah,
celebrating. Like there are people that are like, I'm so glad he is dead. Like that's
yeah,
different, right? That to me is where it crosses the line. For me, I can understand someone who has said something like that, and then people who are vehemently opposed to his views saying like, well, I mean, he didn't care about those other ones. He personally said if people have to die
yeah.
to allow this to continue, then if it's him, it's him. I could see someone being disinterested in his
It's
death,
weird
but
to
like,
think that those same people are carrying on his talking point by accident. There's a double irony to
yep,
that. You know what I mean?
yep,
Yeah. It's look, I don't know. It's the whole language behind it that got us to this point. Is I guess why I wanted to talk
yeah,
to you because
yeah,
you see it all the time at the moment. Like I hate it so much because anytime you start getting into some kind of remotely productive conversation when the two sides are almost getting to the center again, like the common
mm,
sense territory which no one
Yeah.
seems to want. It's like Chernobyl. We know it's right there, but no one kind of wants to walk into it in case there's like some three-headed fox with a hentai dick. You know what I mean? Like it's that we can't
Right.
dare meet in the middle of this centrist ground because there'll be dark consequences and I'll be considered a traitor if I've betrayed my side. And every time they get close, some dickhead will come out and go, no, we can't agree with it. And then it just becomes this big hate rage cycle and everyone brings up every gripe that they've got with every other thing that this political party or side or group of
Mhm.
whatever has done and steer away from the actual point of what the specific thing you were talking about. And it just becomes a race to the bottom. And then now it's gone
Yeah.
so far that it's like, I'm sorry, if you disagree with me, that is violence against me.
Right. Yeah.
Right. This is where
100%.
this shit started. And the left has done a lot more of this because the right is still
I agree.
very, stoic and, I don't want to use the word toxic masculinity because I hate that term, but it's more
Me
like
too.
I'm not going to admit that pisses me off. You know what I mean? Like they'll get to the point where when they break, they snap and they shoot like 1,000 people. It's not okay either. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is this whole thing of like equating words to violence and
Mhm.
disagreements are now wars. Differences of
Mhm.
opinion means, sorry, if you don't agree with me, you don't get to talk anymore. And seeing far too much of that influence reach the likes of X, Twitch has been the real bad one lately. Like they're very
Yeah.
selective in their when they execute their terms. Like if someone on the
I
right,
definitely agree.
there was a
Yeah.
great example recently where there was a YouTuber, Twitch streamer called Tectone, I think his name was, and he called
Yeah.
a chick on the left fat and you might
Mhm.
make it like a fat B maybe, and banned for
Mhm.
like 2 weeks. And yet there
Yeah.
was like calls of open violence and doxing done by, these other streamers on the left, like Hassan Piker, who was like almost calling for violence against this guy's wife who happened to be like in the IDF years ago for voluntary service.
Yeah.
Not a minute banned. And I think
Yeah.
actually in the same week, I might have my dates wrong. I swear that the staff at Twitch like put out like a happy birthday video for the guy that just called for like political violence
For violence.
against
Yeah.
a podcaster's wife.
Yeah.
And
So like
you
Twitch
sort
has
of see
been.
this going to those extremes now, man, where it's like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, you don't get a voice, and we're going to literally deplatform you. We're going to demonetize you. We're going to release your address, and maybe a psychopath finds you and does what they're going to do. And today is the exact proof of where that shit leads. That if you
Mhm.
put it out there into the universe, there's going to be one guy that's a little bit unhinged or maybe a little bit on one of the many spectrums we have now. And at the end of that rainbow is not a leprechaun with a pot of gold. It's a psycho with a fucking AR-15.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. And I think that like that is one of the issues that we have with these platforms is that they are not unbiased. Like we need to have some kind of. But the thing is, who governs these things? Because even the government is
Yeah.
corrupt whenever it comes to this. Like this is the problem. Like
The government's
it's
corrupt. The platforms are corrupt.
right.
The mainstream media has its own corruption bias because of who funds it and their political interests. Like, where do you go for honest discourse in 2025?
I actually recently had a conversation with someone about this, and I think it's honestly like it's going to be the way, hopefully, like in a more perfect situation, this is going
Mm,
to be the way things go. I think it will actually help unify a lot of things. So AI is generally seen as a very scary thing, right?
sure.
Especially with everything that's happening right now. Um, but I genuinely think everything is so um, corrupted on in both the government sphere, the influencer sphere. No one knows what's right, what's wrong, like what's real, what's not. Like everything's getting very scary,
Well, I feel the
and I
right and
feel like
wrong thing. I think people in their heart of hearts, I mean, maybe this is the optimist in me that hasn't quite died yet, but I
uh,
do think most people in the world know the right thing to do. Because I mean, if you're lucky enough to grow up with a family and brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, maybe you had relationships later on, got married, whatever. Um, there is a respect at a basic level for the people around you. And it's like, so well, if you're lucky, I guess, what sort of that family relationship and love and that looks like. It's like, so a right thing to do to other human beings. But it just seems like anything beyond that, there's a choice to ignore what is those sort of hardline right and wrongs and then make
I,
these
I
new gray areas at the fringe.
yeah, I think every day we are reminded that people are narcissistic and, selfish, and whenever like
Well, that's true. I
within
mean,
their
look at the
own
amount of
just
people that are like putting themselves on camera and making fucking YouTube videos now. Like the fucking
exactly what
arrogance and
assholes.
narcissism is getting out of control, bro.
But seriously, I think that so in a selfish way, yeah, everyone in your sphere you want to take care of, but I think outside of that, you very quickly become, especially in this day and age where the internet is the biggest thing that most people engage with. I
Yeah.
think that it's really easy to not feel a sense of, how should we say, to not humanize other people. Like I think it's really easy to not humanize other
That's
people
a good point.
nowadays.
Well,
Complete
actively
lack of empathy.
dehumanize, I think is what we're talking about right now, right?
I think it leads to that, yeah.
Yeah.
But point being is that I think that once you get outside your central sphere, I think that people can be. I don't think people. It's so diverse what people think is right and wrong, and I think this exact situation highlights that. I think we have tons of people that are, as you said, dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk right now. And yeah, I think that they're the minority. I think that they're the extremists, but I do also
Mhm.
think that there's a lot of
Do
people
you
that
think they
aren't
really
saying
believe
it.
it? Like this is the part that I'm trying to
Oh, I
work out,
do.
like how
I
much
do.
of this is performance. But
I
like,
actually do believe that a lot of
but
people believe it.
how do they become so extreme? Like, I mean, if Charlie Kirk personally crept into their house and fingered their cat, I get it, right? But
Yeah.
but like, he's someone that said shit that they didn't like, right? If that led to like another guy came in and killed a friend of theirs or did something, I guess that Charlie Kirk said, "Hey, I did this because of Charlie Kirk." Like, I could get there, kind of, but the level of like passion that seems to be there, I want to believe it's performative. I really want to believe that, dude.
Not only do I disagree with that, I think that there's way more people, like the performative part
Yeah.
is probably more so done by the people who are saying that they. This is going to sound weird because I literally just said this the other day
Yeah.
or just 5 minutes ago, but I think a lot of performative speech is coming from people who are um,
I was sad about it.
condemning, yeah, condemning
Right.
violence against it. Like I think a lot of people are actually like, good, well, this fucker's done. Like I think if Trump got shot tomorrow, for instance, right? I think
Well, I mean,
that
we got there, right? It's just the guy
right.
wasn't as good.
Well, right. Like, but if he was killed tomorrow, like first of all, I mean, believe it or not, like I actually would be sad because I do not like gun violence, and I think that all gun violence leads to more gun violence. So I would be very upset if
This
that
is so
happened.
true. Yeah.
Um, but the I think that a lot of people would be like on the Democratic side, obviously, would be like, thank God, and then publicly they'd be like, wow, that's no, that should not happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that a lot of people would look at it as a relief and be happy. So I
Actually,
actually think
did
that
you
it's
see that
the other way.
moment on the floor of, was it Congress today after the Kirk shooting? Did you see that clip?
I did not. No.
So one of the, I don't know who it was. I don't know names. And again, my research before this was
Oh, is this the
so,
woman outside?
no, it was in
The
the
long.
room. So one of
Oh,
the,
okay, good.
let's pretend senator, I don't know, because there's different levels of
Okay,
US. Again,
right,
I
right,
did no research for this because I wanted to be a natural conversation, right? I wanted to sort of
right.
be our opinions on, just an everyday
Mhm,
kind of talk. I don't want this fake intellectual bullshit because I'm not that smart.
right,
Um,
right.
but yeah, she was like, "Hey, before we wrap up here, I think can we have a bit of a moment of silence for the passing of Charlie Kirk?" And you hear this like Democratic voice in the background. Let me do the Australian version. It was basically
Mhm.
"fuck
Yeah,
off." You know what I mean? It was basically it was a flat no, and then like an active
right.
mocking, and they got into a battle over it. So like
Oh,
instantly,
really?
like in American Congress, like where you
Right.
guys pass bills for the entirety of it, Someone says,
Mhm.
hey, look, a guy died today. Do you mind if we just take a sec to just not say anything for 10 seconds?
Mhm.
And someone
Yeah.
goes passionately, no. Like, what
Right.
does it cost you to have 20 seconds for a guy's life? I don't care who he is.
Yeah. No, I
Rough, man.
100% agree with you. But that's kind of my point is that like I genuinely think that like, the world is kind of unhinged when you ever get outside of your sphere, and I think it's really
Mm,
easy to just not give a shit about the well-being of others that, you don't directly interact with.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think there's that, but as I was saying with just to hop it way back to when I was talking about AI, I think it's really hard to. I think morality is ambiguous at best, especially these days. We have so many different views that are highly controversial, and genuinely, like these people, like you have people on the left that genuinely think Trump is the devil and he's killing everyone with his mandates, and it's causing ridiculous amounts of problems, and they feel more for the people that are going to be feeling the effects of all of the changes he's making. And then you have people on the right side who felt the same way about Biden,
Mm.
and feel that Trump is their savior, and
Or even more
they
so,
believe it.
Kambala.
Right, and they
Yeah.
believe it to their bones, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like no one can. It's hard to trust anyone's sense of morality, and I wish that we just had some kind of truth machine that you could just type in your opinion on, and it would take from absolutely 100% verifiable sources, fact-based sources,
Yeah.
and it would spit out the answer. Because I feel like when at the end of the day, everyone gets all of their news and they form their opinions from platforms that confirm whatever their biases may be. I think that that happens way
Well,
more than
especially with the new
people.
echo chambers and the different threads and
100%.
self
That's
groups, it
that's
gets worse. Yeah.
exactly.
You and I have
And
joked
so I
about this
think
before. It's like every town used to have like just a freak guy that used to live in a hut, like, 2 kilometers out of town. And like a new person to
yeah,
come to town, they're like, hey man, welcome to the community. But it's like, fucking, you got to watch out for Steve. All right. So just live. He's a fucking idiot. He's out there by himself. But on the internet, all of those guys found each other. Right. So now you've got these
uh,
huge echo chambers with people who are all fucking crazy, or
exactly.
into,
Now, and you know what? To make it worse, Crazy Steve, he's making mad money now. You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, Crazy Steve is always entertaining as fuck, always has been, right? That's why
Exactly,
they
exactly.
still let him live on the outside of town. It's like, you know what? You're too much of a fucking wild card to live in the town, but like you're
Right.
entertaining enough that we won't chase you into another state. You know what I mean?
Right, and
Yeah.
and I think that whenever everyone's like, "Fuck, I'm bored. Let's go party with Crazy Steve
Oh,
in
it's
his
like when you're
town." And
young. It's just like hooking up with the hot crazy chick. You're just like, I know this is
exactly.
a fucking terrible idea, but this
But
this is fun as shit for now. We'll worry about that later. Not that I ever
there's a
had that
quote from
experience because I've been ugly as fuck for my entire life, but
well, there's a quote from New Girl, the show New Girl, which I
yeah,
love, by the way. But I love this quote where he says it's this crazy woman that Nick, one of the guys, is hooking up with,
yeah, yeah.
and
My favorite
they
character.
start making out on there you go. They start making out on the bar in public. It's his boss, and the guys are like, "What the hell? This is your boss. What are you doing?" And he's like, "Guys, look, I know this isn't going to end well, but the whole middle part's going to be awesome."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that's exactly what I see it
I
as.
know.
And so,
And
anyways,
he had like my goal if I ever became an actor, like he basically had like a whole
yeah,
run series. We just got to make out with Megan Fox. So I mean, well
you
played,
can't beat
son.
that, really. Yeah, exactly.
Let's peak.
Um,
Transformers One. Let's go.
there, there you go.
Yeah,
But yeah, basically, like if because of all of those things, right, that we just mentioned, like
yeah.
I feel like at the end of the day, it would create a lot more like unity and how should I say cohesion between everyone if we were able to all just use the same information machine to get facts from, because everyone's thinking that everything that they're getting right now
Mm.
is facts, but 90% of the time these people are getting it from biased sources, and I get it. It's a lot of times not even their fault. Like it's just
Yeah.
fed through the machine, the drip line. They don't know where to go because there's 1,000
I
sources.
don't know if it
I
changes
mean, how?
much though. I mean, it'll change some, but the problem is
Mhm,
that I mean, there are some very clear facts out there right now. Like, do you know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, it's pretty hard. In fact, it's impossible to disprove that the world is round. There's some people trying real hard, right? So you can hit people with the cold hard facts and be like, "Thank you, but I'm going to choose from a different menu."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like you can
I
give them the cold hard fact. You say, "This is the truth machine." They'll still go, "Yeah, but no, I'm not gonna. I don't want it. I don't need it."
But that's the thing. I think if we can all come together and say this truth machine
Mm.
is the truth machine. If they were able to, like right now we don't have anything like that. Everyone thinks if I find it on the internet from a source that I like or resonate with or whatever, it can be just as valid as this other source from someone else who I don't like.
Mm.
Where if we all can agree on all sides that this one machine tells the truth, I think if you spat out whatever your beliefs were here and then it came back with, look, guy, unequivocally, this is not true, I think you would have a much harder time believing it. At least I'd like to think. I
Yeah,
do think there would
maybe
still be some crazies out there.
it'd be hard to
But
get to
here's
that.
well, I think it's easier than people think. I think that but I
Well,
do think that there is
Well,
a
because the
problem.
evolution of science, though, is that like you can have something that with all the modern tools of weight and measure, today it's
Yeah,
true based on our
right.
current technology, understanding of the world, physics, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
It can be an immutable fact by our current understanding of logic and science.
Mm,
However, in 20 years, we learn some new shit and you go, hang on, fuck, that was wrong. Not maliciously, but it was actually factually wrong based on our current interpretations. And that's the problem with, I guess, that machine is that if it's got the wrong ones and zeros based on its assumptions, that these are the cold, immutable facts that you need to consider before factoring in this new equation or question that we're feeding you to give us this quote unquote perfect, truthful answer, there's
mm,
always a chance that it's going to be not intentionally, but in the long span of human history wrong. Where I would prefer to see personally us
mhm.
get toward, and I feel like we were closer to it at one point, but again, I was a kid. Maybe I was just wrong with my
Right.
perceptions of the world. That we can have healthy, robust discussions on ideas about those ideas with respect and go, you know what? I don't agree with you. I'm seeking to understand where you're coming from. Now that I
Mhm.
understand your point and your reasoning behind it, I will now make my choice to take your new information to my existing information, update it, and I may not agree with you. Maybe I do. Right. And then I basically walk away from that and say, hey, thanks for your time. Have a good night, Crazy Steve. Let's roll on. Right.
Well, you
So
I
why can't we just talk? Because every time someone starts disagreeing, the conversation
mm,
about that specific topic falls away and it just becomes this whataboutism and like, well, no, it's not got nothing to do with that. Let's talk about this.
right,
Like,
deflecting
no,
and
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
care that, Trump shat on a turtle in 1963. It has nothing to do
Mm.
with this conversation. If I find out he really did shit on a turtle in 1963, that would make me so fucking happy to break that news. But
You heard it here first.
yeah, groundbreaking with episode one. But like that's my point is that there's so much of this shit now that like you get so close to a conversation about an idea that might be helpful and like confronting some of the biggest problems that we have in the world because like we might be thousands of years old, but
Mhm.
the evolution of science and technology in the last 200 years, shit, the last 50 years. We talk about social media the last 20 years and the internet
Mhm.
like we're still in the teething issues phase of humans dealing with all this crap. And there are
Yeah.
hard questions that need to be asked about. We've gone from hunter gatherer, survivor, like, fighting off saber-toothed tigers, woolly mammoths, and like finding food. We dealt with all that shit. Now it's like we've created all these new problems with all of our new science and tech. We need to kind of have conversations to talk about what's next, but we're not doing that. We're going back in time to tribalism. And these tools are being used as weapons to divide us when it feels like they were invented to unite us.
Well, I think there's a very clear enemy in all of this, and I've said it from the very
Corporate
beginning.
America.
I mean, corporate America, guys.
Unless anyone
Uh,
who wants to sponsor this podcast, in which case, whatever it is that they're
we,
selling, I'm
we
on
love it.
board. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Exxon Mobil, we love it.
Yeah,
Give
yeah,
us
yeah.
more gas.
Burger King. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so but I think that for me the clear enemy in all this, because I do agree with you to a point, but I think that there's like the big villain of this is social media. Like I think social media
Oh,
overall has done far more harm than good in society. I think that there has 100% truly been some amazing things, but kind of like religion,
Yeah.
it to me it has done far more harm than good, and like that's my opinion on social media. I
I
think
would
that there's
say
so many
I would say parts of it, but
terrible things
like,
that have
and
happened.
I don't want to mention this topic too much in detail because I do not want us
Mhm.
to jump down this rabbit hole now. I know you and I are going to get into this at some point anyway.
Right.
But things like what's happening in the Middle East right now, no specifics
Mhm.
today, but
Right.
there is no way that we would not have better depictions of what is really going on there or anything around the world, like what's really going on in Ukraine. Like, you've got the AI side, sure, there's got the disinformation, but the
Right.
reality is there are certain sides of things, especially in like totalitarian dictatorship led countries, they control the state media far
Mhm.
more, maybe not far more in the modern area than, let's say, the binary system that exists with mainstream media in the US.
Yeah.
But, information like that would never get out. It's like one side is all that makes out. But even with the mainstream media, there'd still be the binary. Like there's still that choice. Whereas I think there are parts of social media that I am very, very fond of, that you can go, this is provably wrong. Like there are actually people who are
Mhm.
there right now with a camera in their phone, the brand new iPhone 17 that you can fold down inside your urethra, right? That are sitting there live streaming what is happening, and you can't argue with that. You might be able to pour shit on it and say, actually, no, it's AI, it's deepfakes, fake news, folks. You could say that, but when there's like 1,000 different, like today with Charlie Kirk,
Mhm.
right? It was reinforced. There was no way you could argue that guy got shot today in the neck because it
There's
doesn't
already
matter.
conspiracy
There was,
theories, by the way.
of course, there is.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
hilarious. They're
What is
hilarious.
the best one? What's the best one you've seen?
So, all right, so there's 2 things that people are zooming in on now, but it's just
Right.
like when you break it down, none of them make sense because it doesn't
Is
like
one that he's
what would be the
alive, I'm
gimmick?
assuming.
Y
That's always the
they're
best.
all that he's alive, that the video was faked. If you see like there's so the 2 things that people are going onto right now is that, whenever you look at the camera footage, right, there is above the where it says freedom, like above the FR, there's a black, spot on his shirt,
Right.
and whenever whenever it shows the bullet hitting him, the shirt straightens out and it's gone, and then it comes back
But
again,
I
and
bet you
so
that's from
people are
like
like,
one angle. This is kind of
"Oh,
reinforcing my point. Is there's so
well,
many different angles of this.
well, but this is the thing, like it is there. Everyone's like in reality. I'm pretty sure it's just a collar mic,
Right.
and that's what it is. But people are like, "What the hell?" Because everyone's like showing the shirt that he's wearing, and it's like, "Look, it doesn't have that black dot there," and all this kind of stuff, and everyone's freaking out. And then the other thing is, which I don't really have an explanation for this one. I think someone just messed with the footage,
Right.
but he's wearing a ring on his finger, and whenever he recoils from it, the ring goes to the next finger down, which I genuinely don't know how to explain, but it must be some kind of like doctoring of the of that footage that the guy
Right.
used to create the conspiracy theory. But yeah, that kind
Could
of
you
thing.
imagine how many missing kids we could find around the world if people
If we
would
put our
turn
energy
that
towards
fucking
that,
energy into
yeah,
something productive?
I know, I know, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? Maybe we could finally find the clip. I reckon we could. I reckon we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's
I
real,
just
we
like
could find it. Yeah.
the it's truly crazy what people will spend their time on for sure.
Yeah.
But point let me just go back to the point of social media being the problem here, I think,
Mhm.
is because I do always think that politics have been divisive. I think that we look back at it with a level of nostalgia and like, oh, that was a better time. Like people weren't as hard on each other and stuff like that. And I think that that is true. I
Yeah.
think generally it wasn't as bad. I think that it was worse than what people remember it being, only because we didn't have the internet uh, to really inspire the hate for the other party that we have now. So I
Well, I
think that's
wasn't
one thing.
I kind of get what you mean. I wasn't that politically invested when I was younger. I feel like I've gotten much more into it in recent years since I had kids. Because now I actually give a shit about the future because it's not just me. Like
Right.
I've weirdly gone. I really would love if there was a world left for my kids to inhabit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
fucking rad. So
Right.
But like, I mean, going back and looking at it, it did seem like in Australian politics that like, you know, the Liberal and the Labor, which is kind of like our Republican and Democrats, although their politics is like weaved in and out. I don't know who's left
Mm,
and right half the time anymore because it's like
right.
they pick and choose whatever's sexy at the moment. And the policies
Right.
is whatever that guy said, I'm the opposite of that. That's all they got.
On the
But
opposite.
they
Yeah.
used to, the Liberal and the Labor guys used to go out for beers. I'm like, oh, come on, man, we're going to get something
Right.
done tomorrow. Like, what do I got to do for you to get you to just sign my bill and make this
Right.
happen, right? In a less corrupt version than now. Like now, it's obviously how much money,
How much
how
money
many
do I
more
have to
jobs
pay
you're
you
going to
to
put in
make
my
this happen?
district for me to give
Right.
you what you want. Like then it was a very honest look. I want to make this happen because I think it's the best thing for the country or for my state or whatever. Again, there's a very naive part of me saying this. Like I'm sure that there
Yeah.
was corrupt power
Oh, there
grabbing
was
bullshit back
certainly
then too.
corruption, but
No
I
doubt.
think in the same right though, I don't think it was as bad as it is today because I think that's
Yeah.
just the level of corporate influence has increased. Like,
True.
um, but I think that that's just how it is, and I think that that is the reality of it. I also think that political opponents definitely used to treat each other better. Like I think back to that. Granted, it wasn't too long ago, but I'm sure you've seen it. The McCain video of the woman saying, "I think Obama is from the Middle East, and he's."
Oh yeah, yeah. And he was like, yeah, he
And
kind of
McCain's like,
jumped
"No, ma'am."
onto, he jumped across the
Yeah,
aisle and just sort of said,
yeah. He
look,
was like,
what are you
"No,
doing?
that's not true. Like,
Yeah,
he's a good person. We have different views on things, but he is an American citizen, and he's a fine man."
yeah.
And that was
See,
it. And so
doing
like
that would
that's
gain my respect. If I
oh
saw a modern
100%.
politician even conceding a point, like
Oh
in
yeah,
this era now, it's like someone goes, you know what, you got a point there. They go, oh,
right.
he just sacrificed his entire belief system in front of me. What a fucking coward. You're like, no, no,
Well,
no. That's that's the bold thing, to be brave enough, to be
right.
bold enough, and in maybe not intelligent enough, but I guess open enough to say
Mhm.
maybe my belief system is not 100% bulletproof. And after you presented me with a new challenging thought, I'll think about it. There's something to that. That there is a logic to it. Let me follow it. I'll get back to you. You know, I think
Yeah,
if we all had a little bit more of that, and like I mean, shit, we've all got our own instincts to go, no, I'm fucking
right.
right all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in
In
there,
the heat
but
of the moment, that is far from your thought in most
yeah.
cases.
Normally after my
Uh,
wife's won an argument, I'm on the other side of the bed going, God damn it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
While furiously masturbating, of course.
Obviously, yeah, violently ranking, yeah.
No, but I think that this actually leads to my next point. So with
I'm
the
curious to where
rise
it
of
goes from
social
violent
media,
wanking. Yeah.
just buckle in.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah,
so
where does
with
the
the
arc of the
social,
cum shot land next? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, with the rise of social media, see, I think that this has taken it to another level because it's given undeniably it's made a incredibly accessible barrier of entry for people to come on and create livelihoods, right? I mean, like we have people making unreal amounts of money on the
Yep.
internet, and it takes no ability, no real intellect. It's just a level of
Well,
entertainment.
let's
You
hope
know what
this
I
is the
mean?
great next example.
Exactly.
Like and subscribe, hit the bell. Yeah.
But let me so the point being is that whenever so you have these situations where you have these influencers come
Yeah.
in and really like that's the those are the people who are passing information now because people
Mm.
don't tune in to the White House press release. People are tuning into the influencers that they trust on whatever
Yeah.
medium they prefer, and that's who they get their news from.
Yeah, it's true. Like more
And
people watch the reaction videos than the
oh yeah,
original source
100% than
video
the actual
itself.
videos.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yep.
people are putting their trust and I get it too. There is a reason why, and it's because it's such a pain in the ass, which goes back to my other point of like the AI truth bot. But it's such a pain in the ass to find answers
Mm.
like yourself. You go on it and you have to funnel through 20 different sources to try to find something that is and then develop your own opinion that's going to be in between because all of those sources have their own biases,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
sometimes you
so
get it wrong. Like sometimes you Cash Patel and you arrest the wrong guy for murdering Charlie
Ex
Kirk.
exactly,
That
exactly.
shit was fucking like dark, but kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in just a minute,
Oh,
but,
sorry. I'll finish your point because there's something I want to talk
yeah,
about there
yeah,
too. Yeah, yeah.
because, basically just saying that, um, so whenever we have that situation arise, we put our trust in these influencers to save us the time because we're like, okay, well, this guy thinks like me. Like, what's his take on it, right?
Yep.
And but the problem comes in if you ever admit that you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
Then all of your base loses trust that you are correct, and they're like, shit. Well, I need to find a guy who actually knows what the fuck he's talking about, and then that ends up being the problem. So
Yeah.
saying that you're wrong, backing down is a sign of weakness.
It's
Just
so dumb.
as you said, it
It's the
shouldn't be.
dumbest thing. It's why
Right.
people are getting dumber because they go, oh,
I
wrong. But then the
100%
thing is,
agree.
all they're doing now is listening to the loudest guy or girl. It's
Exactly.
like, he's
You're
saying that so confidently. That must be the truth.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's saying it so like you're looking at people who are, very good at being like pseudo intellectual, right?
Sure.
Like we're
Sure.
doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
And
what the fuck you're talking
we
about. Yeah.
so we people go for people like that and people who are hard lined in, never like remove their beliefs from what they originally were. Like
Yeah.
they are railed into the line because if they show any weakness on that front, they're going to lose followers and they can't afford that. So you're stuck in this weird position where
Yeah.
like that's what the person is, just what you said. It's the loudest person, it's the one that sounds the most confident, it's the
Yeah.
one that sounds the most intelligent, but usually is never really that
Well,
good
and look,
because
you
the
made a
guy
good
who
point
is
there
the most
too,
intelligent
because there's that
is willing to be
feedback.
flexible.
Yeah, it's a good point. They got that feedback loop, right? Because remember when we used to do shitty YouTube videos a long time ago on my
Okay.
channel? Like I told you when I used to do that sort of stuff, right? And you
Yeah.
would look
Yeah.
at those analytics and you would go, I spent a lot of time on this video. I thought I did a real good job. And then no one watched it for like more than 20 seconds. So maybe I didn't do a
Right.
good job. And then I made a dick joke and then like 1,000 people liked it. So then I made another
Right.
dick joke
It's like
and then
maybe I
they
should
liked
make
it even
dick
more.
jokes.
So I'm just going to do dick jokes
Right.
now. So it is that. It is because if you sort of go, man,
Yeah.
this is not working. It's like, yeah, this is how OnlyFans got started. It's like, guys like tits?
Mhm.
Fuck, I'd have no idea. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and then so I think people just keep on going in and going, oh, this the extreme shit is if I
Mhm.
ramp it up, if I dial it up, then people are going to follow me. So I have to do that
Right.
thing. I can't branch.
Exactly.
And like, there's a terror of leaping away from that. Like, I remember when I was covering a video game on mobile phone,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I really don't like that this basically feels like soft gambling to kids. I don't feel like I
Right.
can be a part of like soft promoting this right now. So I'm gonna
Right.
bail on this. And you watch your views instantly like carved down. You go, I
Yeah.
thought they liked those videos for me, but they just like the video game. God damn it.
Yeah.
But it's that's what the people were there for. Like the people were there for the
Mhm.
game first. You were talking about the game. So,
Right.
the goal is to kind of stick with it. And there's a temptation to go, man, if I want to be successful on YouTube, if that's the more important thing to me,
Compromise your
I'll just
morals.
go
Yeah.
back to the game and go, just joking, guys. Let's open 20
Exactly.
red star orbs. But I didn't do that. I was like, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not saying that I'm morally better, but I'm just trying to say that to me, that wasn't the more important thing of the two. Like, because the video content would have been shit because I would have hated every second of it. And I would have gone,
Right.
that would have made shit
But
content and it would have fallen off anyway. So I just made
right.
the
But
call of
but
like, I'm not adding anything good here. I'm just going to do what I like. It got way less views and that happens.
but that's the problem, and that highlights the problem is that you took the moralistic stance and you suffered because of it, and someone else won that
Well, I
didn't
didn't suffer
take
because
that
for me, it
stance.
was a hobby, right? Like I wasn't, I mean, I
Well,
would have
no.
loved, yeah, don't get me
I'm
wrong
not
to anyone
talking like
watching.
you
I would
actually
love this to be
suffered.
successful enough to do it full time. I would love it. Nothing would
Yeah.
make me happier. But at the same time, it wasn't more important than that in
Right.
that
And
case.
I don't mean like you personally suffered. I mean more of like your view count suffered, right?
Oh, yeah,
Because
definitely.
and
I'm
then
with you. Yeah,
those
yeah. Well, and there
yeah,
was a
and then
monetary
those
component of it. Like it wasn't a bunch of money that we had in the first place, but it was enough to sort of go,
right.
okay,
But
yeah,
but that's not even really the point. It's more just about like your base
yeah.
that was watching. That base then went
If
to
you, yeah,
someone else
it's the
who
ultimate
didn't have
sin.
that
You
moral
betray
problem.
the main talking point and
Right.
you lose them because they're not loyal to you. They're loyal to the
Right.
tribe and the core. I don't want to say value because I feel like a lot of them is not really based on any true values. It's just it's just a very sexy tribalism to whatever is the hot idea talking point at that moment. And if you don't fall in line completely, and again, that's kind of why I kind of make these videos like this. Just like I'm going to find stuff interesting, confronting, challenging, or sometimes going to play video games. Let's be real. But like just being able to get on and just talk about it and just sort of go, where the fuck am I on this? Like just
I think
verbalize
therapy
it.
is honestly the best way to call it because it's really just like talking through your thoughts,
I
right?
don't want
Like,
to call it that because it's kind of lame
no,
when you
no,
say
no, no,
it's
no. I
therapy.
don't
No, I
mean
know what you mean.
it,
It's what I said to
but you know
you.
what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. That's why I want to do this because
it's
I have
it's
so much
therapeutic.
stuff that I want to get out. And it's like being
Yeah,
able to talk about it and like break it down. The camera is who I'm talking to, really. Like I'm hoping there's other people on the
right,
side of it. Let's be real. Because then I'd love to see in the
right.
comments, you know, what shit do I? Do I want to see the comments? But no, like hearing what other people think and like evolving that conversation and maybe adding in, you know, whatever it is about this topic, is it right or wrong? But yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, just to kind of illustrate the point, like,
Yeah,
like at the end of the day, like with that scenario, you ended up, you took the moral high ground, right,
yeah.
which was the right thing to do, but then it's the guy that was willing to play ball, and be morally compromised. He was the one that ended up getting, all of the views, and that's the way
Well,
things
I've
work
seen some
now
of
with
those guys that are
politics.
still doing the content for that game, and they are still making tens of dollars. Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, like, basically, but if we extrapolate that and put that into the political sphere, that's the same exact way it
that's true.
works, and so that's really my
Well,
point
it's
is
like the
that, like,
voting
you
packs,
know,
right? They're going to go, well, if I don't get on board and, you know, do these
mhm,
talking points that, you know, the people who are funding my political party or maybe my own
exactly.
campaign want to do, that ultimately they're just going to primary someone against me who says exactly what they want to say.
Right,
Um,
and so
yeah,
the dangers of this is that, like, at least it's already, I mean, like, it's not new that politicians are corrupt, right? But
true.
at least there is a legality at some point. There's a hard line legality that they have to follow. That doesn't exist for influencers. And
Shit, I
now
don't
that
even know
we've
if that's true
shifted,
anymore, man. I feel like
I know what you
politicians are
mean, but
so
at least it's more there.
self-policing. Yeah.
But at least it's more there for them than it is for, like, regular people. There is nothing stopping someone from taking a ridiculous amount of money. Well, people in the government also take ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, I'm saying that there are certain red line areas that a politician cannot step out of, and a private citizen who has the ears of honestly more people,
Yeah.
they can do whatever the hell they want, and they can be backed by whoever. They could be backed by Nazis, for instance. Like if you
Yeah.
found out that Nazis were backing a politician, that politician's career would be done. If you find out that Nazis are backing
Well,
a,
is it though? I mean,
I
I
think
feel like if you
I
look
stand
at the
by.
far right conservative movement and a lot of the neo Nazi parties that are supporting these rising right candidates in Europe, Australia, America, South America, I don't know about that. But then again, it depends on what you define a modern neo Nazi. That's a whole different conversation. But I think if we're getting back to the core of, I guess, what we're talking about here, which is like, how did this get so fucked up that just a guy, you know,
Mhm,
talking shit on television and the internet, that it
right.
was normalized enough to commit violence against this person, that it happened in
Mhm,
such an extraordinarily public, gruesome fashion that it is like, how do you break that shit down? But again, the danger was echoed, to go back to what was sort of just about to jump into before, is that they very quickly, using some of this footage, poorly identified the wrong guy. And as you said,
Yes,
what did you say we look like? The guy
he
that they
looked
got
like
wrong?
Larry David.
Look like Larry
Larry
David
David.
famous from Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Jerry, I
famous
didn't
from
do it,
Seinfeld,
Jerry.
and
I swear to
yeah,
God.
and Curb
Yeah, yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, yeah.
That should be an episode. But like got it wrong. But this is the thing, like to talk about the dangers of what we're talking about right now,
Mhm,
where there's this thing
yeah,
of sort of going, as soon as you identify this person, right, or whoever said the bad thing in the crowd, it goes viral as shit, and people try and go, who is this person? Find them, right?
right,
Find them,
right.
get their address out in public, and then we track them down and we'll do something, right? And the
Mhm,
people who start that process might be very naively thinking, I'm just doing my part for the cause, but not realizing that at the end of that road is this,
yeah,
right? So by identifying the wrong person and then getting it out there, and then the Twitter sphere doing its thing, and all the people who, in this particular case, I imagine it'd be the Charlie Kirk fans or the conservative side, would have gone,
right, right, right.
find this person, kill him. You know what I mean?
Right. And those are the people with guns too. So you got to be really
Well,
worried.
apparently both sides have the guns. I think today kind of
this,
proved that
this
point
is
that if
this is
you
true.
are keen enough to make some murder happen in America, there is a local gun supply that's willing to help you out. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem like they
True
do a lot
that.
of checks. You know what I mean?
True that.
Yeah.
Well,
Um, yeah.
I think that. Oh, sorry. Did you have more to say on it?
Well, no, just I guess more so, I guess, where are you at with like, we see this kind of, the core of it is that with this tribalism and the defining of the enemy and just the
Hmm.
normalization of just violence against the person that you're now against, even if it means you've misidentified who it is because there was no fact checking whatsoever. It's
Hmm.
like, it's just an extreme cliff that I'm trying to wrap my head around
Well, I
how we
think.
got here and like, how do you fix it?
Well, so just for speaking about like how horrific it could be for someone who like in his position, Larry David's position, the guy that
Yeah.
got wrongly picked. I mean, like, keep in mind, like, this is a world we live in where if someone doesn't like your voice acting in a video game, you'll get thousands of death threats.
Right.
Like
Is this Last
we're
of Us
at that.
2?
Yeah, Last of Us too. Like, I
Okay.
mean, like, literally, you remember, right? Like, one of the voice actress that voiced that one,
As
I
soon as you
forgot her
said it,
name.
yeah, yeah. Who
She
I
she
believe now
was,
she's
and this
ridiculously famous. Isn't she one of the cast of
she was already Critical Role. Yeah, she
Critical
was
Role? Yeah,
already
but I mean
ridiculously
now
famous.
D&D is
So
so much more mainstream than it would have been at the time Last of Us 2 came out. Like I think a lot more people know who she is.
I will say she was already like, I mean, because first of all, she had been
I don't doubt
voice
it.
acting for, yeah, for an incredibly long time,
Yeah,
and Critical Role was already wildly popular.
true.
So like, which, because that's what kind of astounded me the most, is that she had already a very prolific career
Yeah,
and was adored by fans, and then this came out, and then she had like mailbox full of death
yeah,
threats. Like, it was, she said it was absolutely insane. She had never experienced anything like that before.
yeah.
But point being, and if you're on whenever you're like, whenever you get on the TikToks, you'll see a different side of life, and it's not necessarily a good one.
Yeah, I still don't
So
know if you've convinced me to
have you
join
heard of
TikToks. I
TikTok
feel like at
justice?
41, trying to join TikTok, it seems like almost an admitted like you're trying to go and like, I want to find some young people to talk to. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm too old for
It's
this TikTok
definitely
business, bro.
it's definitely not that, but I will say it is the best of the internet, and it is the absolute worst of the internet in a
Yeah, I don't doubt that
condensed
last part.
space. Yeah, so this is this, I mentioned TikTok justice, and
Yeah,
because this is a thing, and it is notorious for being horrifically wrong, which is
right,
the biggest problem. But so you get these no context clips of someone being angry or something like that, or
right.
getting mad at someone, yelling at someone,
Yep.
and then literally in the comments, the person who posted the video say, "This person here, like, this is their name. It happened in this city. Find them TikTok." And
Yeah,
literally, they are found within an hour.
it
And then
is crazy.
everything that they have ever known is attacked. These
Yeah,
people have a business. Your reviews are now, you have 1,000 reviews, or more than 1,000. You have like twenty
yeah,
thousand reviews, and they're all one.
mate.
And if you have a job, you're fired.
I got a real life example of this. So
Okay.
there was the gym I was going to years back. There
Mhm.
was a young lass that worked behind the counter. And every morning we would see her at like 5 a.m. So like over the course of a couple of years, like you sort of get friendly and you're like, anyway, we see that there is basically a story on the news about our
Mhm.
gym. And we're like, oh,
Mhm.
what the fuck's going on here? So as it turns out, someone in the gym filmed this older Asian lady using a workout machine incredibly wrong, arguably
Right.
hilariously wrong, right?
Right.
And but still, like it was a breach of privacy, and you shouldn't do that. You
Right,
shouldn't
right,
make
right,
fun
right.
of someone, trying to get swole,
Of
bro.
course. Yeah.
So anyway, it went relatively sort of viral. But what really was frustrating about this, that girl made the silly mistake because the person who posted that video was a friend of hers. She did the
Mhm.
crying face laughing emoji. That was her reaction.
Okay.
So the sleuths of
Oh,
Facebook back in the day went, who's
yeah.
commented on this? Hang on a minute. That person is an employee at the gym.
Right. Okay.
And then that story went to
Mhm.
Channel 9 News in Australia, which for, it's a big deal here because we have
Right.
well, at least 9 news channels, as far as I know. That, you know, basically made her a villain, and her name was out there.
Right.
So, and even this person, they brought her name up and said, and she was actively laughing at this woman, right? So, I jumped onto the comment section that day, watching everyone going, find this person, right? I'm like, look,
Right.
I know this person. She's lovely. Like, this is a ridiculous thing you guys are doing. People started jumping onto my Facebook,
I was going to say that's
and they
going to
were
happen.
like,
Yeah.
she was,
They're gonna
they
attack
said,
you.
well, this is his wife. I'm like, actually, it's not, but that's a nice try. So anyway,
Yeah.
I went to the gym the next day, and as I'm walking into the gym with my wife, we see this girl coming out of the gym bawling. Like, and we're not close, but she walked up and just like collapsed, like needing a hug. Like, we've
Right,
never
right.
been like that. She was just, hey, there's a human face that might actually be friendly to me right now.
Right,
And
right.
basically she said, look, I don't know what to do. I have to go downstairs. Corporate's there. There's all this stuff with Channel 9. I'm like, look, are you okay? I said, this is going to sound weird, but like, if you need someone in that room to go into bat for you, like, do you want me to come with you? And weirdly, I
Right,
ended
right.
up in this room with the corporate gym, basically saying, look, you've breached our, what the fuck did they call it? It's like not ethics policy. It was like, oh, what's the wording? It's like,
Morality
you've
clause?
called
Morality
our,
clause?
you've brought our company's name into disrepute. It was like one of those really
Oh, okay.
wanky, legal easy type things. And I was
Gotcha.
like, look, do you mind if I speak? You know, and he's like, who are you?
Right.
I'm just a dude from the gym. It was,
I'm Chewburger 84.
it's a weird situation. If you,
Right.
and I'm like, look, I know this person. Like, have you actually looked into why we're in this room? Like, have you looked into the ridiculousness of why we're here? It was an emoji that this young lady has posted that
Right.
was relatively innocuous. You could interpret that maybe she was sad. It was crying. Maybe she was sad someone did this. Ban the guy who did it. Ban the member who broke your philosophy. But like, don't fire this chick. Like, why don't you just put her on leave for 2 weeks? This is all going to blow over. They're going to have a video of someone masturbating in a childcare center. And this will be, everyone forget about this tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, sorry, we can't do it. And anyway, luckily enough, they did listen and sort of put her on like a program to like, don't be a dick on the internet or something. And she ended up having a pretty decent career till she had kids with the gym, you know? But it was just like the way that everyone came after this girl who posted a
scary.
fucking emoji to a
Yeah.
video was wild. And like the shit that they were saying in those comments, wishing her harm, of like, we need to find her and ruin everything, you know? God
Right.
forbid a human should make a mistake. Jesus H. Christ.
Well, and that's the problem is that you know, so like on TikTok, you know, just to kind of extrapolate that, you know,
Yeah.
times that by like 1,000, and
Right.
that's
Maybe
the
I
kind of
should
recourse you
not
have.
join TikTok or YouTube at this point. Maybe this is a horrible idea and we should end this now.
Well, I mean, so like that's the thing is that like, you know, and not only that, but like the people who like in the comments like defend this person just as, you know, you kind of did, like then their inbox is going to be filled with hate. And then
That
if
was
another guy comes
crazy.
in and
That
defends
was
that
crazy. They're
person,
like, what's this guy's
then their
angle? Is
inbox
he
is gonna
is
be
he
filled with
fucking
hate.
this chick? Like that was literally where they went straight to.
Right.
It's like, hey, they're gonna be,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna be in this together, you know?
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I'm the
And so
Asian
like
lady's personal trainer. I taught her to do a lap pull down like that.
obviously.
That's why I look like
Yeah.
this, you know? Yeah.
um but yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the thing. So imagine all of that backlash, but now being on like the guy that's on the hook or was potentially on the hook for killing Charlie Kirk, you know, one of the most highly politicized,
Yeah. Thanks for bringing
you
back to
know,
what we're talking
murders
about
now
because
of
I
our time.
forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like that's going to be crazy because there's one thing
Yeah.
that we know about the internet, and that's that it doesn't check its facts
Yeah.
after something's proven wrong. You know, how many
That
times have
is
something been
true.
disproven, and then everyone's like, "Wait, what? I thought he was the guy." You know, like no one ever hears
Yeah.
about like how he was exonerated.
I've always loved that. It's like let's make this the news story every minute, every hour, every day, convening these are
Mhm,
the facts for 2 weeks, then find out it was wrong, and then
mhm.
print in a size 8 Arial font. Actually, this whole statement was incorrect, and we regret that this was taken as far as it did, and we wish him well. And you're like, that's
Exactly.
all you have to do as a retraction? Like there should be a
Exactly.
balance of like, surely for at least the next, if you spent 14 days destroying a human, you should spend 14 days going, look, there's going to be boring TV for the next 2 weeks, but I think it's really important that we
We're gonna
highlight
talk about how
how
great this
shit
guy
at
is.
journalism we are. Or in the case of Charlie Kirk, how shit at being FBI we are.
Honestly, like, I
Yeah.
do think that basically they should, as an apology, like, have PR campaigns for the person who was wrongly accused.
Yeah.
Like, Jerry down the street, he's a great, great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are 10 things we love about Jerry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. For 2 weeks, we
basically be
said on
his
this
advocate.
television show that he fucked an oak tree raw. But what we got wrong was he's actually a passionate woodworker. So we're really sorry about
Exactly.
that mistake. It was close. We were nearly there. Couple of key facts wrong, you know?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so those are the things that like that really scares me because I
Yeah.
feel like this guy's life may genuinely be in danger for the rest of his life now simply
Well, imagine
because
you turned
they
off
got it
Twitter and
wrong.
just hit the streets going, I'm going to find that guy. And they're like, no one's seen the update. Like, you're exactly right.
Exactly.
How
Yeah.
dangerous is that shit? Yep.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you're getting death threats and everything like that from a million people on the
Man.
internet just because you smiled at someone wrong, right, in a gym somewhere,
Yeah.
like
And how many of those
what the
people you think
hell are you?
apologize after, by the way? How many people do you think
Oh,
go,
none.
hey, man, I'm
Yeah,
really sorry I
zero
threatened to
people.
come to your house and hang your dog. I shouldn't have done
Yeah,
that. I got carried
exactly.
away. I had a bad day. I should have just got a zinger box and calmed down.
And so you put that onto this situation, and I just feel
Yeah.
like that guy's life is genuinely in danger for the rest of his life.
Yeah, because it touched the politics, man. It touched the extremes. And
Mhm.
as soon as it gets into that sphere and that fringe force just gets unleashed, it's just a tidal wave of just shenanigans.
Yeah, and before you only really had to worry about for like, if this weird video crossed someone's For You page on
Yeah.
TikTok, right? Like here, every lunatic's going to see it. You just had to worry about the couple lunatics that are going to see it that bring it to the extreme
Yeah.
before. Now every single lunatic is looking at you. And
Unless they've
it's
got an
crazy.
iPhone 17, in which case they can't see it. You know what I mean? I
Exactly.
think people don't realize there's a personal
Well,
joke going with us in the background of shitting on the iPhone 17 after such a massive hype up and then just having the biggest like wet noodle of a launch
exactly
announcement
of
that
a
I still don't even
release.
know what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is wild.
Yeah.
I do really think that we should send them that pitch though for the for the commercial idea. It would be great right
we should tell
now.
people our idea. People can have it for free. Should we even say it? We were basically joking that, Cash Patel wouldn't have made this mistake of identifying the wrong man if the Charlie Kirk shooting had been filmed on an iPhone 17. Um,
You could
like, is this
clearly
where we
see
want to
that it was
start
not
this?
him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. But there is
Anyways,
something
Apple,
very,
get
very
at us in the
darkly funny about that.
comments. Get at
What's
us
that?
in the comments for that sponsorship. Just
Yeah.
Apple, get us in the comments
I
for
think
the
what's going to happen
sponsorship.
is Huawei, or however you say that, is gonna really hit us up. Going, these guys are like fuck Apple. I like that attitude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah,
But anyways, so yeah, I mean that's my big issue with that. I mean, they just
yeah,
handled that incorrectly, and I know that they're not going to do the due diligence to make sure that he's taken care of.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But
but
I mean,
yeah,
some shit needs to change, man. Like, I mean, they really have to. I don't know. It's kind of in that whole conversation, and in America, this is like taboo to talk about. But it's like there has to be free speech to enable,
mm,
I guess, progress and growth of conversation in society, right? Is that you can't actually solve the problems of the day without actually hashing it out and verbalizing them, the good, the bad, the ugly, put it all together, take the best ideas and move forward. But if you allow
I think it's
everyone, including the crazy Steves with guns now,
mhm,
to be a part of that conversation, like the threats of violence thing, I feel like there is a responsibility of these people who are the megaphone or the lens that basically zooms
mhm,
in on this person and then basically amplifies it to the world and
mhm,
says, go do harm to this person. I
mhm,
feel like there has to be personal accountability. Like, I think anyone, and if you go through Twitter, there's a lot of this. A lot of people wished harm on Charlie Kirk. And see, like, there's one that's gone like quite viral where like people are joking already. Hey, Cash Patel should probably look at this guy saying, what
mhm,
was it? I really hope Charlie Kirk evaporates today. And there was a comment
Mhm.
under it by the same guy going, watch this event today. Something's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
it was
god,
people like,
that's
oh,
yeah.
you know, it's like if you have a main audience, I mean, I don't know, because there's like the whole free will and people. I don't really know where to take this conversation if I'm honest. It's like I feel like
Well,
something needs to happen that we need to put accountability on these voices and we need to stop this shit of calling for violence on other human beings. And that if you do
mhm,
that, there should be a repercussion in my point of view.
mhm.
But I don't know how you do that and respect free speech because I don't want to limit conversation. But I feel like calling for violence on other human beings is not a productive part of that speech. And I feel like we could probably do away with it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the only way to like, I think that not only will it always continue to be the way it is, I think it will get worse over time. Honestly, like
Mm,
I think that we are in a particularly bad spot, and the trajectory looks worse. I just don't see a way that things will de-escalate. And I'm not talking about just this situation. I'm talking
yeah.
about the whole political situation at large.
Well, I
Um,
mean,
but I,
internationally, because I mean, we're seeing such a
yeah,
global normalization of violence that it's right down to the grassroots level with the stuff we're talking about now, like the average human beings calling for violence on other people who have different ideas, and then seeing this on a global scale, where now you've got these international conventions that have, I guess, kind of been around since, let's say, maybe the 40s,
mm,
where it's just like, okay, these are the new international laws, and this is what is okay and right and whatever. And now we're just got, you know, everyone's pushing the envelope, like from the country
mhm,
level on the international scale, right down to the personal individual. Everyone
mhm,
is fucking convention out the window and respect for other countries, right down to respect for other people. And
right.
it is becoming an international problem and it's a scale problem that's
Oh,
getting
for
bigger
sure,
and bigger. So I
definitely.
do fear that you're right, that I think we are coming to it and there is going to have to be some kind of uniting event for the world. I
Well,
mean, maybe it's 1996's hit movie Independence Day that we do get proof of a
I
foreign adversarial enemy from another galaxy that we're forced to unite against, and we go, you know what? Collectively, we're not the biggest pieces of shit. That guy is, and we can point all of
yeah,
that somewhere else.
it's
Not
yeah.
healthy.
I have always maintained, and it sounds like you do as well. But like, I think the one thing, if we wanted to just make, you've seen Watchmen, right?
Oh yeah, love it, man. Great comic run as
Okay.
well. Yeah,
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So like I genuinely think that like that was like right on where like the only way to unify the world
right.
is to create a larger
Is that our
enemy
Is that my
that
first
threatens us
T-shirt?
all.
Ozymandias was right.
Yes,
If
I
that's
think
not a
so.
T-shirt already, fuck me, missed opportunity.
Because I truly think that that is like the one thing that could instantly be like, all right, guys, you know what? Let's stop the bullshit and it's time to
Yeah.
prep. We're
Let's
now
turn
all
our
preppers.
fear of other races to other species. But see, that's the thing is, I think
Exactly.
that if every country was like Australia, okay,
Hmm.
you'd realize that we already have that enemy, and then it's
Hmm.
sharks. You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, Sharknado 1, 2, and 3. I
Yeah.
mean, it outlines it right there. How have we not listened?
I know. It's yeah, well that's the thing. If we keep going with, you know, if the climate science is correct, Sharknado is going to fucking happen because for too long now we have protected these shark species and now we're making new hurricanes and shit. If you don't think a Sharknado is going to happen, you're a fucking idiot.
I can't believe w- we've realized that Sharknado may be
Could you
the
imagine that,
reality of the
like, in
world in the
100
future.
years, that they hold up like the Sharknado as some sort of professorial Bible like reference? It's like they
Yeah,
knew it
well,
was coming, man. That guy, that
the world
director,
gets
that the
wiped.
guy who wrote that
I
screenplay, he fucking knew.
Yeah, I think the world gets wiped.
Right.
They see the new reality of the world from the few survivors,
Yeah.
and they find Sharknado, and Sharknado it now is like the leader of the existence of our
Yeah. No one
future
goes near the
civilization.
oceans, and as soon as it gets a bit
Yeah,
windy,
exactly.
everyone goes inside.
Everyone goes inside. Yeah.
Yeah, it puts up shark nets
Um,
on their house.
But so just to bring it back to like a, like a more realistic thing,
Yeah.
that's why I was saying with like,
What do you mean
because
not
if
realistic? Sharknado is going to
you're right.
fucking happen. Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
That is true, but just
Yeah.
not quite yet.
Yeah.
Um, so if
That's
we're
a
going for the
2026
immediate,
problem. That's next year's
exactly,
bingo card.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
For 2025, I think that, the biggest, if you look at like the biggest issue, because I watch a lot of debates just because I think
Right.
debates at its core, in my opinion, are fun to watch. I actually like the
I
exchanging
differ in
of
opinion a lot
ideas.
on that. I find some of them interesting, but
Really?
a lot of them is so fucking dry. And in the modern era, just so uneventful that it breaks down. And I kind of get why you would be interested in it if it's a good one. But for the most part, most of the ones I've seen, I
I
would rather
suppose it
rub
depends.
sandpaper on my dick. Yeah.
I suppose it depends what it is, but honestly, I find it so much fun, generally.
Yeah.
So I do like it, but like I think that one of the but yeah, like I think one of the things that annoys me the most about it is that genuinely no one is there to ever change their mind. They will never change your mind, as we highlighted earlier.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I don't like. I really wish people were open to hearing more,
Yeah.
and changing their mind. But the biggest thing to me that is so obvious is that like really it's just everyone has different statistics. Everyone is coming to table with different statistics, and
Yeah.
they're wrong about where they're coming from. If everyone had, that's why I wanted the AI truth box, because if
Yeah.
everyone was getting their data from the same thing, or the only thing that would change is how you look at it, which would be a great thing because to look at the same data set from different
But I
angles
mean,
is
it's
a
but
is a
the thing is,
perfectly good
you've
thing.
always had like these reference points, and again, people are always going to interpret differently. I mean, religions have split because of different interpretations of translations. I think there's some. I don't know a lot about the Mormon faith, but from what I understand, it's like some of the words in Genesis from the Bible, like one way it goes to. It's like Christianity, and it's like if you interpret the other way from this language this way, you get Mormonism. And it's like
Right.
literally they have the same base material to go from, but they both chose to interpret it two different ways. So I get what you mean, like having statistics clearer, because it is weird, because like 69% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Are made up on the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. And then, yeah, anyone who, but it doesn't help. Like, do you know what I mean? I guess sometimes it does, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, making up statistics, it helps reinforce that to the person who doesn't know or is willing to say I don't know, it instantly gives you a leg up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a common tactic. People have to try to feel each other out to see how well they know their statistics and how true their statistics are.
Yeah.
That's why, like, the good debaters that I watch, like, they know their statistics hardcore. They know exactly where their statistics come from because they know that they're going to be questioned on their statistics
Yeah.
and where they come from because
But
that's
then
like
I reckon if you
priority
asked a
number
lot of
one.
those people of the source of that material, like a lot of them would sort of
Mhm.
fold because they remember the number, they know they read it somewhere, but then it's
Well,
like,
that's
oh,
why I said
actually,
the
that
good
was in the
ones
journal
remember the
of
exact spot.
what's that?
That's why I said the good ones, they have to know exactly where the source comes from because they're going to be questioned on that. If you're a good debater, you're going to be like, "Where did you get that from?" And then you have
Yeah,
to know the
but there's
spot.
so much junk science as well. Like that's the problem is like
Mhm.
there are literally tens of thousands of scientific papers published a year, right? And so many of them don't form like the proper protocols. They're not randomized
100%. Yeah.
control trials. They're not peer
Mhm.
reviewed, and they do like really poor science. It's like, okay, let's see what we look at here. In this group, they ate chocolate, they took testosterone, and at the end of this, they all put on a shitload of muscle. So
Mhm.
the chocolate must be that they put on the muscle because
Mhm.
all that group did that thing. I'm going to ignore the testosterone bit, but ultimately the chocolate's got to be how they got the guns. And there are tens of thousands
Ignoring
of junk
correlation versus
papers. And
causation.
what's
Yeah.
really pissed me off is that most of these ones that make it into the mainstream news for like clickbait stuff of red wine is actually good for you if you drink 3 bottles a night now. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
all that
right.
stuff comes from these really poor scientific inferences that come from
That are
ultimately
skewed, yeah.
junk papers. So I agree with you, like the quality of information is there, and there's very poor peer reviewing. But
Yeah.
for me, like good debaters, like knowing the facts is definitely good, but it's like, what do you do with it? Because like there are people that you
Mhm.
go, I know that's bullshit, but fuck, he's got a point because of the way he delivered it and took this piece of information that was flimsy but
Hmm.
like forged it in the irons of logic, held it up to
Right.
that fire, and then brought out something that you could go, there's something in there. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and that's why I think we're always going to kind of have that problem. Like, I wish there was, to an extent, the truth machine. I do think it would make life
Hmm.
a lot more boring because I think we do need a little bit of ability to lie sometimes.
I would rather live in the life that was slightly more boring but had far less death.
Well, I mean, far less death, fantastic, obviously. But,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, it's, I think
because
you're always going to get people who are always going to either A, honestly just go, hey, look, this is what I think from that fact. And then you're going to have people
mhm.
who are always going to butcher and manipulate that fact, even if it was pure at its start, to corrupt
S-
it into something that benefits them and start their own
so
cult, you know?
let me break it down into this quick thought experiment with
Okay.
you, just because like I genuinely just don't know the alternative. And, we're living in a world where it's increasingly becoming more corrupt on all ends. Influencers, political figures,
Yep.
corporations, countries, like everything is getting, more and more corrupted.
Yeah. Every year we're
It,
adopting more policies that are more likely to harm the greater humanity and
right.
benefit a very small amount,
And
because
so
those are
my
the people that
question
are guiding us
is,
there. Yeah.
exactly. And so my question is, who would you actually trust to take you into the future? Like, I mean, like, is there anyone realistically that you can trust? I mean, your best situation is
Mm.
something with a lot of guardrails, right? Which we had, I mean, to a degree, but now it's becoming, as we said, more and more corrupt itself. So even the system that was once protecting
Mm.
um, our form of governance is now off the rails as well. So the question is like, wouldn't AI be the most objective situation to use?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because it comes back again to the base code of the ones and zeros.
Mhm.
Because if you give it the same baseline of, I guess, the same potential flaws that have been put into it by its creator, you do run the risk of replicating the same flaws. And we've seen that with a lot of these early AIs, right? That they become like, you go, all right, learn from the internet and like be as human as you can. And like 20
Mhm.
seconds later, Grok is like, fuck, Hitler was rad. You know what I mean? You're like, dude, where did you get that? It's like, oh, you were in that part of the internet. Fuck, don't go over there. What are you doing, Grok? That's not where you go. You know, you go porn first,
Mhm.
then cat videos. Eventually, you get through that section. But
But that's the what you used to train it on, right? Like,
yeah,
because that's a different situation. But like,
yeah,
if you said theoretically, like we used an AI that was trained purely on the Constitution, right, and everything that
but
we
it's a
have
flawed
surrounding.
document, though. That's the
Well,
problem. Is
no, no,
that
no.
it's a
I
horrendously
agree.
flawed document. Yeah.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that because that's the best that we have for our lawmaking abilities, the way that we act in our society, and everything like that. Like we've
Mm,
made it worse over time. We've exasperated the issues.
yeah.
But I'm just saying we basically take the best of what we've been able to do without the corruption. We put it in this AI think bot that is limited to think within the confines of these specific parameters that we
Yep.
lay out to create something that can only spit out what we see currently as um, absolute truth and justice, unbiased truth and justice
Yep.
that pertains to how we govern. So if you do that, you get rid of all of the corruption instantly. If that was to guide us, that to me seems the only way to really cut out 99.9% of corruption. There is a flaw in this thought for sure,
Mm.
because the question is who controls the parameters of this think bot, because that could bring you into a whole nother thing. Is someone poisoning the well that we drink from? And then how would you know? You know what I mean? So that's its own problem. But realistically, I just see that as like at this point, that would be the best guidance that anyone can get. It would certainly be better than what we have now.
Look, I mean, if it's done perfectly, I mean, there's
Hmm.
obviously a potential, but we still run into that same problem, right? Is that, and it could make it far worse because it obviously comes back to that old adage that, and I'm going to get it wrong because I always do. is like absolute power, like corrupts absolutely, or something along those lines. Like if you have this
I think that's
one
right, actually.
central shit, I hope so. That'd be a fucking win
Yeah,
for me.
I think you
Um,
nailed it.
if you have that central nexus points of power, it's got the potential to be all good and it's got the potential to be all bad. And it does have that. If there's no external checks and balances to say this is the thing, like I think
Hmm.
part of the problems we've got at the moment is that we have laser focused our decision making for our species in a very finite amount of individuals. Now, we
Hmm.
can't globalize it because there is a lot of fucking morons out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Hmm.
there has to be a balance out there for it's not a great idea to only have people who are already powerful and already wealthy make all the decisions for humanity because you know what? They're probably going to keep doing that thing that got them and keeps them where they were and potentially gatekeep and push people further away from that. That's not a good
Hmm.
idea. That's where we're at now. Not working out great.
Right.
You can't necessarily go to a full blown socialism, everyone gets a vote because nothing will get done because
Yep.
humanity is so diverse that, you know, you're never going to get, even in a society that conversed really, really well, the differences of opinions
Hmm.
is you would waste time
Yeah.
and you would never really get to a consensus because it'd be so hard to reach one, you know, because everyone's
Yeah.
got
Well,
their own
actually, the
minutia of
thing that has
idea.
killed the thing that has killed every socialist economy, well, what tanks in a socialist society is the economy. It's because it's not able to dynamically respond to market change. It
Yeah.
every single time it collapses because there's so much bureaucratic nonsense that has to go
Yeah.
into it,
Well,
and
this
there's
is going to
so
sound like a
many.
weird thing, and it's not realistic. But I mean, this is where you
Mhm.
kind of need like the benevolent dictator. You need what was it? It was like Red Sun Red Sun Superman. Like that's the one
Yeah.
where actually no, sorry, it's not Red Sun. Red Sun's where he lands in Russia. It's the one where there's like a multiverse split, and basically what happens is Superman has lived his entire life
Mhm.
as it's kind of like a flip on the Injustice video games. Did you play Injustice?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Same
Superman
sort of
goes bad.
idea. It's
Yeah.
basically Superman's like, all right, I'm going to let everyone live their own life. I'm not going to interfere. I'm not going to abuse my power to make
Hmm.
humanity live the way I want to. I do not want to become a god. But
Hmm.
he had the right morals, instincts, and he was pure, right?
Right.
A pure dictator. I'm not advertising for dictatorships, but I'm saying like if you had to have a perfect system, it's kind of like your AI idea. But basically, yeah, I think the benevolent dictator is I don't know.
But that
Is the
I
short
think that I
version
think
of
that's
this.
the problem though, is that in my view, it's not necessarily the AI isn't the dictator because it has a checks and balance system, which are the parameters set
Yeah.
behind the AI. So I
I think
think
it's
that
like it's the right idea, whether it's an AI or whether it is, you
well,
know,
it's just humans are fallible. Like,
but
a
so are
machine and
machines. Like there's
theoretically,
no
well,
I think yeah, I think the
theoretically.
centralized nexus of one centralized point of power is
Mhm.
the thing that kind of bothers me because eventually it's going to get corrupted either by its own designs or by accident because like a one or a zero flips or a human who had the right instincts was just in power for too long and became
Mhm.
disconnected from humanity themselves because you know the mantle of having that much responsibility for so many people you know
Mhm.
becomes a thing that you eventually you have to think about the whole instead of the individual then all of a sudden you have to start making these for the greater good choices. And all of a sudden
Right.
you're getting into collateral damage. And then, you know, fast forward to the end, Charlie Kirk's getting shot through the neck. So
But these are the times whenever I really wish that we could just have a 100% realistic Sims experiment where we could just kind of like
just take out all
create
the
a
windows and
set.
doors. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just love to see, like, okay, if we now switched to an AI dictator for the world, like in 1,000 years from now, what would our society look like versus that society? You know what I
Well, I
just
think
would
people are
bet
going to
in
run those
everything.
simulations. Like when we get the next AI gens, which they're all building in Saudi
Hmm.
Arabia and China and all these places in Nevada, I think I've read somewhere.
Hmm.
That once we
Yeah.
get those first, I'm sure they're going to run these simulations on, but they're going to do it in how they control it though. Like I mean,
Well,
I
and
think getting humanity to give up its destiny to a machine is unlikely. It's going to be the guy who runs the machine. But that's kind of where we are now. You know what I mean? You've got Musk running X. You've got all these other guys. Was
Mhm.
it Zuckerberg? Like they're kind
Yeah, running
of, you
Facebook.
know, they're running the machines that control the world now to an extent.
But it's a little more cloak and dagger right now, but I do think that we're getting
Mm,
there, yeah, but I think that the big thing for me is just, like with AI driving, this is a good example,
mm.
right? When AI driving,
You're
which
really into
is,
AI. Do you want to fuck AI, bro?
um, dude, maybe I should have you meet my AI girlfriend. Okay, I mean she's
Nice.
amazing. So,
I don't know how to tell you this,
but
but she's been cheating with me.
oh god
Ugh.
damn it. I programmed her to do that.
Right.
So
You got an AI
I'm
cuck dot
just an AI.
io. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm an AI cock. Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Can you
but
even say
anyway,
that on? Isn't
so
that one of the banned words? I don't think it's on YouTube, but I feel like on
no,
Twitch.
I don't think
No, I'm pretty
no.
sure it is. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to say
Well, okay,
like
on Twitch,
incel or cuck or, which I don't
Twitch
know why.
maybe.
Hilarious terms.
Yeah, Twitch maybe. At least I'm
So
thinking
lame,
of
bro.
TikTok, and on TikTok you can totally say that still.
Right. I have to learn these
Um,
things if I'm going to actually start playing video games on the internet again.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna say that I think like with AI driving, it's a good example of this. When um, AI driving is, it has to be like many times more safe than a human in order for it to be legalized to take over as opposed to a human, right? To be at the wheel
Well, I
unmanned.
think it's a numbers game because the problem is if you've got robots doing their thing and you've got humanity
Mhm.
doing their thing, I think you need the whole system has to flip on the same day. Because I think if all the AI cars are operating together, the system will work. If as long as you've got the split of AI doing its thing versus human instincts and chaos, not so much.
Well, but I mean, like, it accounts for that though, for like, human error whenever it does this thing. That's why it's already like several times more safe. That's why it's legalized in several cities to be fully autonomous without anyone behind the wheel.
Yeah,
So I mean, like, my point is that whenever, like, let's just say 10 years from now, it is absurdly better than a human. Like it is ridiculous for a human to drive by
for sure.
comparison to
I mean,
an
do any of us
AI.
really want to drive at this point? Like, I mean,
The,
if I could just
isn't
be
that the
like,
problem? Is that AI doesn't want to do any of the
let me
shit
just
that we're
do
going to make it do
Borderlands
for us?
4 while it's taking me down to the Gold Coast, man. Like, I don't want to sit there in traffic and just go, oi, fuck it, where's your indicator? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. Let my car do that. Let my car automatically abuse the car in front of it for making the wrong digital decision. If my
There you
car
go.
doesn't have some AI controlling an artificial bird to flip off another car, I don't even want this technology. I don't want it.
you know, leave it to you to come up with probably one of the most interesting unthought of ideas in AI driving future.
Mate,
Like, what if I need to flip
humanity is
off
not what I
another
thought it
AI?
was if someone is not working on this right now. If there is someone who is not making aspersions about someone's race or gender based on their ability to drive and putting it into an AI algorithm, I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
Well,
realistic to me.
so going back to the point, like,
Yeah.
at what point do you look at it in the same way with like politics? If it can govern a society like in simulation 1,000 times more
Well, there's
efficiently,
no politics there because like the
objectively,
politicizing of it is like that's gone. It's just we do. There's no debate. There's no politicizing. We do in that system.
well, wait, are you saying so in the system, in the simulation system?
No, I'm talking about in what you're talking about with like the AI god,
Oh, okay,
if you
you're
will.
saying that we do it as in like, yeah, obviously we do it.
No, I'm
Is that what you're
saying
saying?
that like politics is this whole process about debating what is the best choices for the community and like hashing it out, getting the best of ideas and moving forward. What I'm saying is politics as it's designed as a system, it disappears because there is no consultation, there is no discourse. You have officially signed over this program to run things. So it will just basically just
Right.
put out a new, SMS to everyone. I mean, I imagine by that point directly into people's hippocampus and just say, this is the new thing. We actually figured out this is more efficient. Let's do this now. So there is no
Yeah.
politics in that
Well,
world.
well, it's just streamlining those politics, because all it is, like, if it's going to run an algorithm to see if it's more beneficial to put a park in this area of the city or a new fast food station,
Have you ever
right?
seen
That could
Demolition Man? Stallone Snipes?
no.
Great fucking movie. Watch it tonight,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It kind of goes down that road where basically not with AI, but they start making all these decisions about, all right, so this isn't good for you, so we shouldn't do it. So they start off by going, all right, we can't have guns. Right? Okay, that's fair. That's pretty good. It's like, all right, that's no good. We're smoking. Can't do that. It's like, it's killing too many people. It's not beneficial for society, so we get rid of it. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Then they're like, all right, junk food kills people. We should get rid of all basically fun food, right? So we get through all that stuff. And then it goes down to they actually outlaw sex because you can get STDs from it. The more sex people have, that's unregulated, unregistered, basically you get spread of disease. Therefore, it must be a bad element. So because it's bad for humanity, we're going to outlaw it. So, you know what I mean? I don't think you fix it with this, but I think, you know, certainly not within our lifetime, it's not going to go that way. Not with so many nations, not with so many different peoples with different belief systems. But I think there has to be changes now with what we have. I think there needs to be immediate changes, in my opinion, to stop this shit. Number one, I'd love to change the attitude of everyone that we just need to stop equating differences in opinion to being your enemy, to declarations of war, to threats of violence, to doxing, to glorifying and normalizing violence against people who just different opinion to you or a belief system. We need to stop that shit now with the system we have. And if we do that, it's going to get at least what? 69% better? Let's go.
You did that throwback on purpose, right?
I've been sitting on that for 20 minutes. Yeah. No, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I think we have to do something with a system is shit. We know that. Until we get, you know, fucking RoboCop that's not Skynet. God, all my quotes are like 1980s. I'm so fucking old.
You got to update your references, bro.
But it's all TikTok now. It's just like it's all people, you know. You know, I think that until you get that, we have to go, well, what can we do now? What can we do and say, okay, we're at the brink right now. You know, we're at the what's the doomsday clock these days? Have you know the doomsday clock?
Yeah.
It's like the closest to midnight it's ever
I'm not
been.
sure what it's at. Yeah,
it's the closest midnight it's ever been. Yeah. Like the doomsday.
I hear that all the time. That granted, like over the past like 5 years, I always hear it's closer. It's even closer now. It's even closer than it's always been.
And then just fast forwards that trip of I'm gonna come, and then some sort of dance song. Yeah.
Exactly.
I fucking love that clip so much. Have you seen that wedding DJ? By the way, this is an insight into Chew Burger's brain. By the way, have you seen that clip of that wedding DJ? Who's got that clip like building up in the drop, and he's got the clip of Kamala going, "Do not come, do not come." And then there's this like very clearly left-leaning Democratic woman who's probably mother of the bride looking at the DJ with like devil eyes. And then he pauses the beat, drops the Trump, I'm going to come. And then she scowls at him while he drops into a really sick beat. And then the rest of the wedding reception has a great time. While this woman's just like,
I've seen that video many times.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's great.
That there, I'd say those are the two most clips that jump into my brain that I can't stop watching it when it hits my feed is that one and this other random one. I'm sorry I'm doing this, but I need a little bit of levity after what we're talking about with this guy dying.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you seen that clip of that chick who does the interviews for the UFC and that guy from South Africa?
No.
It is so fucking funny. I'm going to very poorly describe a video, which is the worst thing you can do. I get it. Like it's such a very 41-year-old thing to do. Basically, it's this chick interviewing this South African guy, and she's like reading questions that have obviously been submitted by the crowd. So it's an MMA fighter she's interviewing. And she's like, so it's Black History Month. And just like lets it hang there for a second. The guy's like, okay, and he's South African.
Where's
I don't know
this
if
going?
I mentioned that. And he's like, well, she goes, well, do you have a message for your African brothers? And she just starts laughing because obviously it's a ridiculous question that's come through. And he's like, I don't know, great, happy Black History Month. And anyway, then she goes to the next question, which is obviously fan submitted again. She's laughing hard and barely getting through it. And she goes, if you could be a pizza topping, like what would you be and why? And just loses it because it's a dumb question. He's like, bacon, because it's the best and because the vegans would hate it. So they would leave it, which means more for me or of me because I'm the pizza topping. And then she's lost it. It's like, The lady turns around there like we're going, well, what the fuck would you be? Like, and then he goes, cilantro. And she goes, what, because I'm Mexican? And he goes, yeah. She goes, I'm not Mexican. And he goes, well, happy Black History Month.
Yeah,
You
this
gotta watch
sounds
this
like a
clip,
great.
right?
I
I
have
hope
to
that
watch
people
it.
understand what the
Yeah,
fuck I'm talking about right now and find that as funny as I do.
you know,
But there's so much joy
you
in this organic moment that happened between those two. This is why I
you did
believe
enough
there's
of a
hope
good
in
job.
social media still.
Yeah, I agree that these are some of the beautiful moments of social media, but, you did I just want you to know you did such a good job that you actually convinced me
Thank you.
to watch that clip. I will
Yep.
watch that clip.
See, what this actually is a trap. You're going to use those keywords to search it and you're going to come up with a blue waffle. Do you have that
Trapped
game?
again.
Do you have that game in America?
Yeah, yeah.
Where like you try and convince people with a story to
Unfortunately.
like look at something really messed up at their
Mhm,
phone. It's like, do you know that when waffles leave the factory, like they're so processed that they're actually blue and that they have to
mhm.
bleach them to be that yellow color that you see them when they're in your freezer. You should Google blue waffle on your
Yep.
phone. It's a horrifying documentary, and they Google it. You're like, oh, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, we used to do that with, like, Pen Island and stuff like that as well, like, "Oh my god, dude, I got these new
Yeah,
pens, oh,
yeah.
they're awesome, go check them out." They have,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Did you see
all these
those?
anime
Did you
pens
see
and
that the
everything.
ladies, the American ladies won the soccer competition? And there's this beautiful moment where they're holding up the Premiership Cup and they're crying. They're so happy. You should Google that video. It's just Google Two Girls, One Cup. You'll find it. You'll find it.
Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would be the
We play that
worst
game
one.
all, well, not much now, but we used to play that game all the time at work. But then,
Yeah.
HR finds out about stuff. And
Yeah,
it's just
HR ends everyone's fun.
actually, in case HR sees this, I never played that game. I have no idea what it is. I was just trying to be funny on this video right now.
In fact, you should just pin it on someone you don't like at work, that's really what it was.
I like everyone at work.
Oh, well, then you're a lucky man then.
Yeah, so
Truly
true.
rich in life. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I get the summary of this conversation is that we are in a fucked up moment of time, and there is so much to talk about. And yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy
I
doing
I
that.
can't wait till we talk about the Middle East, like, we have so
Fuck, bro.
much.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I hope you come back
Yeah,
for that one. So look,
yeah.
I don't know if there is anyone that has made it to what is roughly 2 hours on this video. I guess let's do a test. If you made it to this point on this video, comment shenanigans below. I look forward to seeing 0 mentions of the word shenanigans in this chat. But if you got there, I will personally thank you for getting this far in the comment section. Look, it's been really good talking to you, dude. It's been a long time. Obviously,
Mhm.
I've been out with fatherhood and that sort of stuff. It's good to be back on
Yeah.
the YouTubes. Thanks for coming and giving me someone to bounce off on this first video because I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to do something. But look, if you
Yeah.
have found this interesting, entertaining, and you want to see more of this, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do the bell thing. Whatever else gets this video in front of you for the next one, do those things. I don't know the rules. You know them. You watch YouTube. You jerk off to maybe not this video, but other stuff, I'm sure. ASMR, maybe? Are people still jerking off to that?
Yes, people are.
People find a way. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to masturbating, I think we're going to message on a message of hope today. We're going to end on it. And so when it comes to masturbating, people will find a way. All right, brother. Thanks very much. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.